The UK jazz scene is based on meshing all the cultures that live in London.
It's been really powerful in sort of permeating youth culture.
When you say UK jazz, it's the acknowledgement of the American art form, but added to that, some degree of personality that can only be born from the UK.
It's almost a buzzword. People think that it means a certain kind of music, but there's so much happening within that.
Imagine the rhythms of dubstep or grime and the melodic inventiveness of hip-hop or future soul with exploration of the unknown. When you put those together, you'll get 50% of what it is.
All right, let's make some noise to welcome in everybody that's new.
Steam Down comes from that tradition of community and integration and communication between the audience and the performer.
Esley Weekly is where we come collectively as a band to improvise, essentially, completely spontaneously, nothing written off the top of the head, and it's a place where we get to collaborate with other musicians from the scene.
You've also got the non-kind of competition factor, which is really important, and supporting each other.
It's like walking into a small little bar in Deptford, and it's a really, really diverse group of young people dancing the hell out of this music.
It's all energy of love, and this is an example of where it can be expressed in a very physical, sweaty way.
What people used to think the jazz audience was just like, you know, some old dudes sat in a jazz club in a corner. Obviously those guys are still there and that's great, but I think they could be stood up with someone who's like, you know, 18, and I think they can become mates and they can find something that resonates with them.
I think it's really hit people that come from my demographic and my age and my sort of society.
15 years ago, if you went to most jazz gigs, it wasn't people that looked like me. So to have an organisation like Tomorrow's Warriors, where it's not segregated, but it just tries to tilt the balance of what the music looks like, and it was always a really supportive atmosphere.
Tomorrow's Warriors is a charity that engages itself in artist development. You know, we find young musicians or young artists and we help develop their skills.
Coming under the Tomorrow's Warriors organisation, I owe a lot to them, and they're definitely one of the key players that have helped this revival.
I felt there was a slight gap in what was being provided for youngsters that possibly didn't have financial support or parental support.
Many of the people that are contributing a substantial amount to the scene we're seeing came through Tomorrow's Warriors.
Some of them I've seen at that height and now they're taller than me, and I've seen them on TV at Glastonbury or on Jools Holland. It just makes me happy.
The future of UK jazz is not having it being seen as UK jazz, where it's an infusion of creative musicians into the popular culture of Britain.
I think there will be a generation of people that will see jazz or improvised music as the norm, and I think those people beneath us are going to create something even bigger and better because they're not going to see it as something secular.
In the UK right now, I think it's the best it's ever been for female musicians, and particularly female instrumentalists.
There's not such a thing being female in the industry. We're not there yet, but I'm really enjoying seeing faces like mine doing well in the scene. The representation now is so broad, there's almost like no excuse not to push the boundaries as far as they can possibly go. And that's what I'm excited about. I'm like, I want to see who can take it to the moon.